9th of February, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora. Good morning, Rabbi. Phil's not here.
Morning, Lou.
Good morning, Rabbi. I'm back.
Okay, wonderful. Baruch Hashem.
Uh,
Back and raring to go.
yes. All right.
Okay, so so we did the Mishnah yesterday.
We started it. I don't think we
the-
finished it.
Oh, okay.
I think we did the part that was on 90A, and we just turned the page, but I don't think we got very far.
Okay. Okay. Right. Okay, so we need to so let's start with the top of Amud Beis. Zehaklal in the Mishnah. Zehaklal hakol lefi kvodo. Yeah, that's what we were trying to work out yesterday. Let's read this over and again in the Mishnah and see. I see we have Rashi's on the subject. We can maybe figure out what's going on here a little. Okay, so Roy, would you like to read Zehaklal?
Zehaklal. Right. Zehaklal. This is the general rule. Hakol lefi kavodo. Everything depends on the victim's level of honor. Omer Rabbi Akiva, afilu anayim Shabisrael Ra'in Asom Ba'elu Haim B'nai Charin Sheyardu Min Megiv Sehem. Rabbi Akiva said that even the poorest among Israel are regarded as if they are aristocrats who have lost their wills. Shehem b'nei Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, for they are all children of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov.
Okay. Let's take a look at the Rashi over here. The first Rashi on the page is Zehaklal hakol lefi kvodo. Lou, you want to read, please?
Okay, I'm expecting a call, so I might have to excuse myself, but I'll read until that happens.
Okay. Very good.
Zehaklal hakol lefi kavodo. This is the general rule. Everything is according to the honor, the person, his honor. The Gemora mefaresh kola haya o chumara.
Oh, okay.
In the Gemora, it explains kola is the voice.
Here, kula, a leniency.
Oh, kula, leniency. Or it's a leniency, or it's a strictness. So in other words,
Right.
if he's very, very highly honored, then it's strict, and if he's not, then it's lenient.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I guess we'll see exactly what the I don't. The Rashi is a bit disturbing to me, actually, to tell you the truth, because he starts off saying Gemora Meforish, like the Gemora is going to explain, what this entails, this statement of the Tanakama, and then he says Kula o Chumra, that it's a Kula or a Chumra. What do you mean that it's a Kula or a Chumra? That sounds like a question. Is it a Kula or is it a Chumra? So I don't. It's a bit disturbing to me what Rashi is. Seems like he starts off saying we're going to explain it, and then it sounds like he's saying the Gemara is going to ask a question about what is it? Is it like this or is it like that?
The Art Scroll gives some sort of explanation. It says that are these penalties the starting point, or are they the finish point? Are they the compensation for stated earlier in the Mishnah apply to people of high stature, but people of lower stature get less compensation? Or if the Mishnah's examples apply to people of lesser stature and people of higher stature receive more? So what's it? So there is talking about what's the starting point of this of these compensations? Is it a starting or a finishing point? What is it?
I mean, is this number a minimum amount or is the number a maximum amount?
Yeah, something like
In
that.
the Mishnah?
Yeah. Does it, whether the means that the assessments stated earlier in the Mishnah apply to people of high stature, but people of lower stature receive less than what they said, or if the Mishnah's examples apply to people of lesser stature and the people of higher stature receive more than what was stated in the Torah, in the Gemora.
Yeah, because it seemed to me that the words of the first page of the Mishnah was implying that this was the standard fixed amount, regardless of who the victim was. Gets this amount. Maybe he gets more. Maybe he gets less. Or maybe he gets more than that. In addition to that, he wouldn't get less than that because it doesn't state anywhere in the first part of the Mishnah, before we turn the page, that it depends at all on who the victim is. It just seems to focus on what was the action that was done to the victim. We're not concerned at all about who the victim is or what his status is. The first time we hear about that is on this other side of the page. Unless that is a conclusionary statement that maybe that's the point. In other words, how does that conclude, and what does that mean in light of what we said above? Okay, we'll see. It's hard to tell, really. Okay. So that's okay. And we have anything, Rabbi Kiva? No. Rabbi Kiva? No. Nothing more. Okay. So So the first statement of the Mishnah was everything goes according to his kavod, and Rabbi Akiva says that he says that we say that even in regard to anim that they're not regarded in this evaluation of how much their busha is not according to their status as a nim, but rather according to their status if they would be b'nei chorin, so to speak, more on a higher station than being a nim. Sheyardu min nechseihem, that they lost their money, which would be a higher level than just who were never well to do.
So I think that means that he's raised the minimum.
Yeah. The anim will not be regarded as anim. They'll be regarded as b'nei chorin who were yored min nechseihem. Yeah. Which is giving them a higher status than they really are. And why is that? Because they should not be regarded as a lowly status, because they are b'nei Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. So it's as though it would be improper, really, to regard them as simply poor people. Poor Jew is not poor. That's the point. He has a lot of wealth. Okay. So let's go further in the Mishnah. Maisa be'echad. Anyone else there to read? I can't see anybody.
Alan
Yeah.
is here.
Alan is here.
Okay, great.
Alan, you're muted.
You're still mute, right?
No, I'm not. Okay,
It's on 90B1, second paragraph. The Mishnah
Mishnah
continues.
continues, right, okay. The Mishnah continues with a related narrative. Uma se be'echod shepora rosh or Hoshe Mashuk. It was an incident in which someone bared the head of a woman in the marketplace. Boss with me, Rabbi Akiva. She came before Rabbi Akiva. The Chivo retained law, Arba Moos Zuz, and he obligated the perpetrator to give her 400 zuz. Omalo, the perpetrator said to Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi, Tain Li Zaman, my teacher, give me time. Unotan lo Zaman. So Rabbi Akiva gave him time. Shemora Omedes al Pesach. The perpetrator lay in wait for her until he saw her standing at the entrance of her courtyard. She bar s kor for Nahor Uvoka Isha Esau Shemen, at which point he broke a jug before her containing an Isar's worth of oil. Ilcha S. Roshua, she uncovered her head. The Hoyasor, Tapachas, Uman Nachas, Yador al Roshor, and began moistening her hand in the oil and placing her hand on her head to anoint her hair. Need on Rahor or Rome, she set up witnesses against her, who row with name Rabbi Akiva, and came before Rabbi Akiva. Malo, perpetrator said to him, Lozo, Ani notain Abba, Meos, Zeus, to this one must I give 400 zoos? Malo, Rabbi Akiva dismissed the man's argument and said to him, Lo, Omar Torb Cologne, you have said nothing. Veil, the Atzmo, one who wounds himself, al pi, no Rashai, even though he is not permitted to do so. Putter, exempt. Rim, Shechos Bo, Bo, yet others who wound him are liable. The Hako says the T O so also one who cuts down his own saplings, Alpha P a Roshay, even though he's not permitted to do so. Proto exempt from payment Akarim, yet others who do the same thing are liable. Therefore, even though the woman humiliated herself in public, you who humiliated her are liable for the full payment. That was a mouthful.
Okay, so let's review what took place over here before we go to the Rashis. The Gemora is recording a story where we see that Rabbi Akiva not only he paskined in a real live case, like he said in the Mishnah. That's generally what the idea of bringing a masa in the Mishnah after the statement of the Tanoim. So, what happened? There was somebody that revealed the head of a woman in the marketplace. So, in other words, it sounds like she had a head covering on, and he removed it, and she went to Rabbi Akiva to adjudicate the matter, and Rabbi Akiva promptly made the person obligated to recompense her 400 zuz, which is the amount for a ksuba for two women. So, a lot of money.
It's about $4,000 to $5,000.
Okay, but I you have to understand that it's not like the dollars of today. It's not correct. It's a lot of money. It's not just $4,000.
It's a lot more than 4,000?
Yeah. 200 zoos. I'll do some research on that. I don't agree with that. That's 4,000. It's not $4,000 of the what would buy today $4,000. $4,000 doesn't buy anything today. That's not the ksuba that a husband gave a wife. No, that I don't think so. Not at all. I'll have to do some research on that. That's not my understanding. of the amount of a ksuba.
I appreciate it. I'm curious to know how much it is.
That's not my understanding. Okay. 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 So the man said back, give me some time to gather the. Give me some time. And so Rebbe Kiva allotted him some time. So what did he do? He stood by the courtyard of this woman's house. He was standing over there. Standing over there at the entry to her courtyard. Shiber esakad bifaneha ubo ki'isa shemen. So what did she? Shiber esakad bifaneha. He broke the thing. He broke the pitcher in front of her. Ubo ki'isa shemen. There was a certain amount of oil there in the amount of an iser, which is a currency. Certain amount, the amount that would be in a pitcher. Ilsa es rosha. She revealed her own head covering. Mitapachas. Oman chabiyada al rosha. What did she do this for? This rosha. I guess she put the head covering on the shemen to save it.
No, read on, Rabbi.
Menachas biyodah al rosha. She put her hand on her head. So that Hamid Aleha Adim. So then what did he do? So in other words, she herself exposed her own hair.
Right.
In a semi-public place. It was in her chotzer. It's not the marketplace, but it's her looks like it's her chotzer. So in order to, I guess, recover the remains of the shemen. So this man, he got witnesses, and they came before Rebbe Kiva, and they said to him, he said to him, Lazo, ani nosein arba meos zuz. This is the one that I should give 400 zuz to, as though to say, she doesn't really have any significant busha, as a result of her hair covering being removed, because you see that she does the same thing herself, to herself. Amalo, so Rebbe Kiva said, Loi amarta klum, you have said nothing. Achovel ba'asmo, apopi she'eno rishai, patur, even though someone damages himself, and he's he's not really allowed to do that. Not really allowed to do that to cause injury to himself. Chovel is to make a wound in oneself. But even though he's not allowed to do it, nevertheless, he's potter. Don't know what it means that he's potter. Who would he pay? It goes from one hand to the other hand. I'm not sure what the point of that is, but the point is that over here, acherim shechavlu bo, even though there's no actual payment that could be made over here, even though he wasn't allowed to do that to himself, if somebody else would do the very same thing to him, they would obviously have to pay him. So that's Rebbe Kiva's retort to this man, who brought the witnesses to show that the woman is not embarrassed by what he did. That's what he's trying to prove. And Rebbe Kiva said it doesn't matter because of this is the din. Even somebody that injures himself, even though he's going to be potter, but that doesn't mean that somebody else that does the same thing to him will be potter. He'll be chayav. Okay. Let's see what Rashi says about this. Oh, then the Gemora, the Mishnah rather brings another din, which is similar to the din that Rebbe Kiva said. Hakotzeitz netiyosov. He cuts down his saplings. Even though he's not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to cut down I guess they're talking about a fruit-bearing tree, perhaps. A natia is a fruit-bearing tree. Even though he's not allowed to do that, and but he's potter, he can't pay himself. But if acherim would do so, chayovim. Somebody else would do it, he's chayav. Okay, let's take a look at Rashi. Lou, again, please read the Rashi.
Okay. Mirasha?
Shamra, on the second line.
Oh,
Shamra.
Shamra. It means to guard. What's the context? Shamra. Just trying to find where it is.
Yeah, this is where it is in the Mishnah after this man said, Rebbe, Tain li zman, give me some time. And,
right.
He gave him time. Rebbe Kiva gave him time, and then it says Shamra.
He lay in wait for her. He was watching for her.
Right.
Hametin la ad sharata omedes al petach chatzira. So
right.
So he was watching for her. I don't know what hametin is.
Hametin, he was waiting for her.
Oh, waiting
in anticipation
for her until she rota, until that he saw her standing.
Yeah, right. Until he saw her.
he saw her standing next to the opening of her courtyard.
Right. So now that he sees her standing there by the entrance to the courtyard, he breaks this this pitcher that has oil in it.
Right, Ubo, and he came. Ke'isar Shemin. What's Ke'isar?
Isser is the name of a coin.
Oh, an Nisar, right, coin. So he brought an amount of oil equal to the value of an Isar, which is a small amount relative to 200 zuz. Shemen kanoi be'isar, oil that he acquired with an Isar.
Right.
Okay, so he's just clarifying what it means, Ke'isar. Afal pi she'eno rashoy, even though that it's not proper. So this is talking about when the example of somebody does something that isn't proper, and nevertheless, he's not held liable, but if somebody did it to him, that person would be held liable.
Right. You can't say, "Oh, you do it to yourself." So you're not. You don't care whether I do this to you also. No.
Right. Kidimifaresh Taima Bigamora, as it will explain the reason in the Gemora, the Chain Kotzeis Kotzeitz Benatios Ein Rishoy de Over. So it's even though he is he is not permitted to violate Bavel Tishchis. I don't know what this Bavel Tishchis is.
Okay. So that's a pasuk in Devorim in Parshas Kiseitze about cutting down a fruit-bearing tree. That's the prohibition of Bal Tashchis, to cause unnecessary destruction of a fruit-bearing tree.
Ah, okay.
The Baal is a language of negation. It's like saying al, like saying do not engage in destruction. So the one who cut down a sapling, which is a fruit-bearing tree, even though now it's not bearing any fruit, it's an immature tree, but you're not allowed, because it would constitute a violation of the prohibition of Bal Tashchis.
Oh, Bal Tashchis, right?
Yeah.
To waste something.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't only have implication for a fruit-bearing tree. It has implications for all sorts of things that of property and things. That's a whole subject. What it applies to.
So in other words, cutting down a fruit tree is not proper because it's a violation of Bal Tashchis.
Yeah. but I'm saying that the actual the prohibition in the Torah is that's the case that the Torah is talking about, and not
Right.
cut down a fruit bearing tree.
Right.
So how it follows through and with other things, that'll be the subject of Gemoras and poskim and everything like that.
Okay, but it's funny because it's the Dibur Maskil Afal Pi She'eno Rashoi seems to be talking about wounding himself. How did we get from there to cutting down a tree?
Well, that's
Oh,
what
there's
Rashi.
another Afal Pi. I see. There's two Afal Pis. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Rashi actually, what Rashi is doing is he's saying on the words of the Gemora that says Afal Pi She'enu Rishai. Rashi, even though he's not allowed to wound himself, Rashi doesn't give the Torah prohibition over there for why it is that a person is not allowed to wound himself. Rashi just says, "Oh, the Gemora will explain it. I'm not going to tell you right now. See the Gemora."
Right.
But in regard to for some reason, in regard to the next case that the Mishnah quotes, with cutting down a young sapling that's capable of producing fruit in the future, Rashi does give us the reason. He says v'chein, and also in the case of cutting down a fruit bearing tree, he's not allowed to do that. And why is he not allowed? Rashi gives us the reason. He doesn't say, "Oh, the Gemara will explain."
Right.
Why he said in the first case the Gemara will explain, and then the second case he explains himself. Maybe the Gemara the Gemara is going to explain the first one, but it doesn't explain the second one. That's why Rashi felt the need to explain it himself here in the Mishnah, because the Gemara doesn't deal with it.
Right. Right. That is strange. I think our time is up, Rabbi.
Okay, very good. Yashikoyak to everybody, and hopefully, Bez Hashem, tomorrow, if need be, I'll be able to host the meeting, even no matter what. We'll see. Bez Hashem.
You're planning on hosting tomorrow.
Yeah, Bez Hashem. If I'll be in, if I need to. If I need your generosity and assistance, I will try to let you know as soon as I can.
When are you supposed to get your your new computer?
Well, the person that we bought it from, he promised to give it to us in the next 2 or 3 days. So tomorrow is the third day.
Aha.
Hatzlacha Rabbah.
Amen.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Take care.
All the best, everybody. Have a great day.
See you, Lou. Bye.
See ya. Bye-bye.